Genshin Impact 3.0 is finally out, and alongside with it we've gotten Sumeru and the long-awaited Dendro element, and I've been having a blast going through it all. But alongside with it, we're also getting some free Dendro characters, that being, of course, the Dendro main character. But then we're also getting Collei as a free 4-star character after you do a bit of this story, and then you go south, you start this other quest, and a little bit into it, you get access to a free Collei. And this is awesome, and a lot of people are likely going to be building her, except they didn't make it very easy to build her. Hi, my name is Blossums, and today we're going to be going over a Collei Ascension Material guide. I don't typically do these kind of videos, as you can just go on the interactive map and find them all for the most part, but Colleis aren't so simple. I think you'd be surprised. It's actually quite complicated. One of our Ascension materials here is the Rukashava mushrooms, and these mushrooms are not very easy to find. They're pretty few and far between, and some of them are locked behind pretty long puzzles. And then also the actual boss material is on the literal opposite side of the region where you start, so they did not make this an easy process to actually go and level her up. And if you're like me, when you get a new character, you want to level them up as fast as possible to make them as viable for your different teams as possible. So that's of course what I wanted to do. So when I first got Collei, the first thing I did was go, okay, where's the green bird? And I sprinted across Sumeru basically after I got through the story a bit, and I went to bird, started farming bird, and I was like, all right, I got a few of those materials. Where can I find these mushrooms? And this is where the major problem is, because there are not a ton of these mushrooms, and not all of them are easily accessible. And to show you what I mean here, I've actually got the interactive map pulled up, and this interactive map does indeed show you where all of these mushrooms are. But as I said, a lot of these are locked behind what seem like pretty long puzzles, and I didn't want to quite delve into those. I just wanted to level my Collei as fast as possible. And as you'll notice here, I'm going to go over pretty much all of these, because I went to pretty much all of these locations to figure out how accessible the mushrooms were. And I think you'd be surprised. Of course, the most accessible, and luckily all of these are available, are the ones up here to the north. And this is where they're all grouped for the most part. This is where you're going to get the most for your Collei, and this is the farm spot basically. So that's good news up to the north. Good stuff right there. This right here, I believe that's in a cave. I could not find it anywhere. This right here, you can get that, and I believe you can get these as well. I didn't actually check those specifically, but a lot of the others are like in caves or behind a puzzle. This one is in some sort of cave, and when I tried to go down to the cave, which seems to be over here, Paimon rejected me and shot me back this way. So I either got to complete more story or just wait for another update till that's available to go ahead and access that. Also, the ones down here, I seem to be in some sort of cave or something. I could not find these particular ones, but I could find these. And these are luckily by a teleporter, and they're all pretty close to each other, so that's another really good source of them. And then down here to the right, all of these seem to be in some sort of cave. I even jumped down here, and yes, there is some sort of cave and some sort of puzzle you gotta solve in order to get in here, and I imagine be able to collect these. So yeah, that realistically leaves you with the ones in the north and the ones down here for the most part that are easily farmable. Of course, you can do these puzzles that I mentioned that seem pretty long and actually get this done, but as I said, like I wanted to level her up first before I did all this exploration. In order to do that, you're going to have to cut some corners. So I did mention those two spots. Up here to the north is great, and then over here at this top teleporter is another really good spot. And those are realistically the only like good locations. There's the two over here west of Sumeru City, and that's solid too. And those are going to be your on the ground open world available versions of these mushrooms. But that's really not enough. And you'll see even after 2 days of farming here, I am still lacking to even get to Ascension 4. And getting to that max level, by the way, is pretty important for Collei, because Dendro, for most of its reactions, are transformative reactions, and that means they scale off of your level. So having a higher level is going to make those reactions deal more damage. So getting your Dendro characters up is pretty important, and also just to make her viable for the team in general. So what are our alternatives in order to get these mushrooms? Well, luckily there are two vendors in Sumeru that sell these actual mushrooms here, and I mean two. There's only two. I went and I checked a bunch of places, and then I looked in a database to double check, and there are two, and one of them is luckily in the very early village here at Ashpazi. He's at Gandhara village, the very first place that you go to, and he's the master chef here. You go up here, you talk to him, and he sells 5 every single day. So this is on a daily rotation, thankfully, so you can get 5 from him every other day. And the other vendor is also daily, meaning you can get 5 from them every day. So this is going to be a very easy way to acquire these mushrooms rather than having to jump through a bunch of hoops. Because up here in the north, by the way, where most of them are, you gotta like do some acrobatics to get in these like mushroom trees in order to grab them, because these mushrooms, of course, mostly spawn on trees, and they're not very accessible. So this is likely going to be the easiest way to actually get these. And the other one, however, the other vendor is not easy to get to and is in fact behind a pretty long quest. So basically, whenever you get through some of the story in Sumeru, at one point they tell you to go to Port Ormos. And on your way to Port Ormos, you're likely to come across this other side quest where this girl takes you to Vimara village. You go through all this other shenanigans, and eventually you have to go to Vanarana here. And this is where the little Korok equivalent inserts for Genshin Impact are. They're the little like chubby plant creatures. They're very cute. But you go through this pretty long quest already, and then you have to go through another series of steps to even unlock this vendor and talk to these little Aranaras, I believe their names are. And so I'll show you guys where this guy is next, but you have to do that quest first, and that does take a little while. And I would say it's worth it because, of course, you want to do it in general overall, but if you want access to these materials earlier, then you're definitely going to want to do it. All right, for our little Korok vendor guy, he is right here at this little pond in the village. So you'll find like a little cave you can go through, and you can find him here. And his name is Aramani. He's a little cutie here, and he is the shop vendor for these little Korok homies. And you can buy 5 from him every single day, as well as some of these other materials. So if you need any of these, and he's a pretty good vendor to grab these. But yeah, he also sells the mushrooms there, and those are on a daily rotator as well, so you can buy those every single day, getting you 10 from both of the vendors. And you need a lot of these materials. Like I said, like I'm at 30 here, and I'm gonna need more than 30 on the next go around when I go to Ascension 5. So this is going to be a pretty long process, so if you haven't started, I'd recommend doing so. But yeah, I wanted to point out these locations to you, let you know which ones were accessible or easy to get to, so you can level up your Collei faster without losing your mind going to each location only to discover that it's behind some sort of long puzzle. I already went through that for you and determined those things. But yeah, I hope you guys found this informative and it helped you out. I didn't think getting materials for Collei would be so hard, but it was, and I wanted to share with you guys to hopefully ease your burden. But yeah, I do have some other content coming out this week, of course. Talks about Dendro. I'm really enjoying the element. It's really fun. The Travelers build, the Collei's build. We've got plenty to do and plenty to talk about. I'm having a good time in Sumeru, and I look forward to seeing you guys on streams and in future videos, of course. But hopefully this helped you out building your Collei, finding those materials. Other than that, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.